Well, aloha and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me in this week's podcast. My name is Paul Fletcher and this is The Healing Source. We are full on into season number 9 and this is podcast number 4 or 5 actually in this series. I'm actually enjoying sharing the wisdom and information in this series because I don't believe you're going to find this information very easily pretty much anywhere out there you go to look. Today's subject matter is on the third eye channel. And as shared at the beginning of this series, this entire series will be on understanding the nature, power, and significance of your major spiritual channels. Now, as a reminder as to what has been shared before, there are 4 major channels. There is the soul language channel, there is the divine direct soul communication channel, which we taught on just last week. This week is the third eye channel, and then the last channel we'll speak about is called the direct knowing channel, and that will be next week, of course. If you missed any in this series, make sure you go back and watch the first 1 or 2 because it really sets a strong foundation for the value of these channels and your understanding about how to work with them and what you need to do in order to develop them and open them. Now, the third eye channel is, of course, directly associated with the third eye. And I have taught this course on opening the spiritual channels about 10 times for a total of maybe 100, 150 students total. So in teaching this that many times to that many students, you run across a lot of different misunderstandings and perspectives, and there's a lot of information in and around opening this spiritual channel called the third eye. So the first thing I want to share with you is that the third eye and the third eye channel are entirely different from each other. They are, of course, directly connected. The third eye channel assists the third eye in its functionality, but the third eye itself is an energy center, and the channel itself is exactly that. It's a channel through which a pathway of information comes on the way to being received via the third eye. So I'm going to give you some insights and wisdoms from the teachings that I have offered before on the third eye, things that you might know, things that you might forget. And then we're going to go into where is this third eye channel at and how do we get the most value out of it? Because we want to be able to work with this channel to help us to be better servants to humanity and to receive any valuable information from our soul or from our heavens teams or even from the source. And these beings of love and light are always talking to us, so to speak, but we need to have had our channels developed in order to receive that information. So let's dive in, shall we, as to some of the benefits of the third eye and the third eye channel. Okay, so you should see this first page, reminders on the third eye. Now, if you have taken the Open Spiritual Channels course with me, then this won't be that surprising to you. But some of you might be experiencing this information on the third eye for the very first time. So let's go into that. The third eye is a cherry-sized energy center in the center of the brain. And it is directly associated with the 6th soul house, but it is not the same as the 6th chakra. It is, of course, directly associated with the pineal gland. There is many, many wisdoms and teachings on the pineal gland, its spiritual connectivity, how to vibrate it more, why and how it could calcify. There's a lot of information about the pineal gland that would be very wise to learn more about. No time to go into those details today. One thing that is not well known is that your third eye can be strengthened and enhanced by having a strong Kundalini Snow Mountain area. And what that means is that the area where the Kundalini is, which is the back lower half of your abdomen, again, if you miss those teachings, go back to earlier in the series when I went over all the energy centers, the foundational energy centers. I forget which series it was, maybe 5 or 6. But I go into details on the Kundalini Snow Mountain area. And for those that do not know, these areas can receive transmissions of light that will save you about 500 lifetimes of your own efforts to build the light in these areas. As a master teacher that has my own Tao healing field, I can transmit to you a Kundalini light ball or a heart chakra light ball. I can even transmit to you a third eye light ball, but you have to have the foundation before you can receive that. So not going to go into those details. You can always reach out to me at my website, which is wellspringoflight.com. Okay, so back to the teachings. So we have your third eye can be strengthened by a strong Kundalini. It can be weakened by overuse and failure to boost the Kundalini. So this is specific to those whose third eye is already open, and then they may have headache. They know they see things, but they always have headaches. That's because their battery cell, the Kundalini area, is weak. You need to empower this area, and then you won't have those kinds of concerns. Okay. The third eye may not open without a lot of practice, and of course, strong Kundalini. You don't use your mind. Images are often not direct representations of what heaven wants you to understand. So as a reminder, when you're utilizing your third eye, or when you see images, and I'll give you some reminders, about what to expect when or if you see images. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But one of the things that's very important to understand is when you see third eye images, whether it's a movie or a still image or whatever it is, you absolutely must not assume you know what that image or movie you're seeing directly means, because the mind can analyze and assume it's understanding what the images that's shown you is trying to say, but in fact it could be what's the word I'm looking for? It could be something that is representative of a deeper meaning, right? And so this is why Master Sha teaches, open your soul language and divine direct soul communication channels and develop them significantly. And then when you get a third eye image, you learn to ask, thank you for that image source. Heaven, I'm so grateful. Can I please have the message that is attached to this image so that they understand the deeper meaning of what you're trying to relay to me? And that's really the key to understanding the images you're being shown. Now, there is different ways that you can help develop this center. One way is the Kuan Yin lotus hand position for developing the third eye. And again, if you missed that, then go back to my teachings on the third eye in, I believe, series 6 when I talked about the 5 foundational energy centers. I'm not going to go into that now. Also, you can boost your Kundalini, which will cause the light to go up the spine, clear blockages in your kidneys, and nourish the brain and the third eye. So let's talk about the third eye channel, okay? Where is it? Well, what is it first? The third eye channel is a light-filled channel within a human being's etheric body, our soul body, through which heaven delivers images, impressions, and messages. So why does heaven deliver messages in this way? It's a very good question. Well, one of the answers is that the third eye is one of many different ways heaven can communicate to you. So heaven is always communicating with us. Your soul is always communicating with you. You have a heavens team that are always communicating with you. Sometimes we are not able to receive these messages in the ideal way. And so heaven might drop a book off the shelf right in front of you and it opens to the page to offer you exactly what you need. Sometimes you hear a song and the words in the song give you the message exactly what you need. So heaven is always communicating with us in many different ways. Those are some examples. And as we develop our spiritual channels, as we open our heart chakra more and we receive intuitive messages, or as we work with the soul language and soul language translation channels, we basically open ourselves up to receive much more pure and accurate messages. So heaven has many different channels through which they can bring messages to you. One of the great benefits of having trained with Master Sha is that he trains all of his top teachers, and I've been blessed to be one of them, to open and develop all of their spiritual channels. And when he offers a blessing, let's say to somebody who's had 30 years of severe back pain, he will ask his top teachers, what did you see for third eye? He'll ask another one, what did you see? He'll ask another one, what messages does heaven give you about this, this transmission? He'll ask another one, open the Akashic records and read what has been removed from his Akashic record that was the root cause of his back pain, and so forth. And this, for a master teacher who's been trained, is, it's second nature. You just open the records and you read what's transpired. You receive images and you share the messages that came with the image. So there are many different ways heaven can deliver messages. And in this example, Master Sha would do a healing without touching the person. So you and I, with our five senses, cannot discern what happened. But when he asks his other top teachers to go into their inner spiritual channels and explain what transpired, all of a sudden we get an entire background that we cannot comprehend with our five senses. And, obviously that person's feeling much, much better, but there's no logic to it using our five senses. But when we receive the information given the four major channels, then all of a sudden it's very, very exciting and very wow oriented. All right. So the third eye is a medium through which these different facets or clarity of messages can sometimes be better or more readily interpreted and understood. It can also deliver clear images of heaven's wisdom in direct or in symbolic form. So the direct form could be straightforward, or it could be symbolic, which is why we need to use our spiritual channels to discern the message behind the image. Okay? So where then is the third channel, and how can we improve upon the quality of the reception of this channel? Here we go. So the third eye channel starts, as does all of the channels, in the Ming Men acupuncture point. This Ming Men acupuncture point, as you can see by the image, is at that dip in your back. Okay, it's at that dip in your back. And it's an area, but the Ming Men point itself is an acupuncture point. So the light from the universe, from the source, comes through the Ming Men point. It goes up the back, what's called the Jeju, the spinal column. And then it goes through the fifth chakra, the fifth soul house. And then it stops at the third eye itself. Pretty cool, huh? So this is what's known as the third eye channel. This is actually where the images are coming through. We feel the vibration in our pineal gland and we're able to see it, but it actually occurs through this channel. Okay. Now there are some rules that you must keep in mind about the third eye. So these are things in terms of further development, or are you opening your third eye? How do you know if you're actually seeing things? A lot of people actually do not know if they are seeing something with their third eye, or maybe they're questioning, I'm not sure if I saw something. They might just see a flash, they might see color. Let's talk about that. So one of the tricks, if you will, is when you want to see something in your third eye, you ask heaven for images. And you place your mind not in the center of your brain. You place your mind gently on your Ming Men point. You just relax and you kind of drop your intention to the lower back area where your Ming Men is. And no focused attention, just gentle. And you could have an image pop up right there. Okay? So it could pop you might be just chanting and waiting and chanting and waiting, and all of a sudden you'll see a still image. So some people see it in front of their mind, some people see it in their mind, some people see it in their Mingmen point. Uh, Most all of the time, 95% of the time, the eyes are closed when you see it. It being an image, possibly moving images. But there are a few people with very, very powerful third eye, and their eyes are open and they see. Okay. Some people see moving pictures. Some people see solid images. You may see flashes. You may see colors. You may see nothing yet. Okay. You may see a still image. That still image could be color or black and white. Okay. You may see something right in front of you. Or you might be shown a heaven's animal, or a temple, or a cloud, or beings in a cloud. You could see a variety of different things. You may be shown something inside yourself. Let's say you ask for a specific piece of information about a health issue. They might show you, what looks like the tunnel of a blood vessel within your heart. Or maybe you see a clump, somewhere, and it looks like a gray mass of a cloud. Okay, so you could see a variety of things. You can ask, and it's always a good idea to ask. Sorry, I thought I had this large when I was talking about these things. You can ask to have the image be slowed down. So let's say you have a series of images and you're seeing something happen that appears to be from the past, and there's people that are jostling with each other, maybe they're fighting, and then a spark is in the right hand corner, and then something happens over here, and it might be happening too fast for you to comprehend. What do? Dear heaven, I'm so grateful for these images. Could you please slow it down so I can understand what's happening? You can ask that. And so there's different ways that you can ask for assistance. Some people, their third eye is very active, and they might say, can I see the health issue that's happening for this person? And heaven will show them something, and it might not be close enough. So you can say, can you zoom in? And literally, they'll zoom in. Heaven will do this for you. There are, I'm not one of them, but there are definitely advanced teachers that do this and have taught this. So to be able to work with third eye is very, very key. Now, as has been taught before, the development of your third eye, and in this case the third eye channel, is almost entirely dependent upon the opening of the heart. Because if you pay attention to the channel, it starts in the Mingmen point and it goes up the back of the spine, it goes through the throat and into the third eye. But your message has to be pure, okay? So you can get an image, but you do not want the mind to guess what that image means. So you have to ask, dear heaven, I'm so humbled and so grateful to have received this image. Can you please offer me the message that, the meaning and message behind this image so that I can comprehend what you're trying to share with me properly? And then you drop into what has been taught you in the last couple sessions. Hey, hung, hung, ah, shi, yu, wong, yo. You work with your soul language faster, faster. Hey, hung, shi, wong, yo, and your soul language comes out. Hey, ya, 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 yo, 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 yo. And then you'll hear the message, my dear Paul. This image is to share with you the importance of da 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 da. You speak that out, and then you remember the message, or you maybe be able to pull it up again. You say, oh, now I see the linking. But it might not be direct. So don't assume. And this is one of the keys of opening the previous earlier channels. Now, this channel has, as has been shown, let me pull it back up here again, has the Mingmen point as a starting point, the fifth soul house, and the back along the way, and your third eye. So clearly, there could be blockages in any one of these areas. The Mingmen point, anywhere along the spinal column, the fifth chakra could have blockages. So this could impede the flow of information and wisdom in the third third eye channel. So you want to practice for the Mingmen point. You want to clear the blockages in your spine. You want to clear blockages in your fifth chakra. And of course, practice for the third eye itself. As has been taught, the practices for the third eye is the lotus hand position, where you touch your pinkies together, you roll your palms over, and you drop your elbows against your body, naturally relaxed, shoulders relaxed. And this is called the lotus hand palm position. And you would chant the mantra Wang Ma Ni Ba Ma Hong. Wang Ma Ni Ba Ma Hong. This mantra is associated with Kuan Yin, which is the compassion Buddha, and by chanting that, we can develop our third eye. Now, practice with a Mingmen acupuncture point. You would place one palm, center of your palm, at that dip in your back, which is where the Mingmen point is, directly back from your belly button, straight back. Where that dip in your back is, you place one palm there, other palm over your belly button. And you would chant Mingmen opens, or develop my Mingmen, develop my Mingmen. And you would see light in the Mingmen in the back half of your body. You might do that 5 or 10 minutes. For your fifth chakra, you would chant the sound power for this, which is Shi, S-I, Shi. And that sound power vibrates the entire chakra of the neck. Do that for 5 minutes. And then, of course, for the third eye is Yi, Y-I, Yi. Or you could chant Wang Ma Ni Ba Ma Hong. Okay? I'm not going into great detail on any of these because I taught all of these before. So go back and listen to the recordings. Now, what I do wish to share with you is that if you want to truly develop your third eye and your third eye channel, you need to develop your Kundalini and Kundalini area. I have taught these classes before. I've taught them in podcasts. You can find them in my YouTube channel. They're out there. They're not difficult to find if you search my name on YouTube, Paul Fletcher, Kundalini or Snow Mountain area. You'll see it there. Also in the podcast, it's listed the same way. And practice these, okay? The more you boost your Kundalini area, it feeds and nourishes your third eye. The channel itself is about accuracy, okay? It will expand and make wider the channel so you have a higher probability of seeing more and more often, okay? The pineal gland is also important for developing the third eye. You want to, like I recently received a rainbow light bulb for the pineal gland. When they're available, maybe want to get light bulbs for the Mingmen acupuncture point. Obviously, the fifth soul house can be a blockage for people. I was teaching a little bit about this morning with my class, whereas this is associated with the neck pain, speaking, vocal and vocal problems, and so forth. So you could have lived more than one lifetime in which you could have used your authority or your ego to express yourself in a manner that was harmful to others. If you were in a high-level authority position, you could have ordered people to war, causing loss of life and so forth. This kind of negative information can create blockages in our fifth soul house. Also, not speaking up when we should have. We could maybe have saved people's lives if we spoke up, or created people having less harm if we spoke up. But when we're meek and when we hide and we don't speak up, this can create problems in the same area. So if you want to highly develop your third eye channel, then it's important to work with each of the areas associated with that channel. Empower the Mingmen, empower and clear blockages in the fifth chakra, and and empower the third eye with the third eye practices, as well as working with the Kundalini. That combination can help significantly in developing both your third eye and your third eye channel. On the physical level, the pineal gland is known to become calcified, especially with things like fluoride in the water. That will calcify your pineal gland. And there are many toxins and chemicals in today's environment. So you want to do your homework around things that could potentially decalcify your pineal gland. So all of this and your ability to further develop these qualities and attributes can be significantly enhanced or improved with transmissions, treasures, and downloads. I do have authorities and abilities to offer things like crown chakra blessings to further develop parts of your health, parts of your spiritual channels, etc. I very often deliver light balls for the kundalini or the third eye or the heart chakra, those things that are associated with both our wellness, energy, and our spiritual channels. So if that has of interest to you, then make sure that you click on the information in the bio. Also, of course, you can go to my website, wellspringoflight.com. I do offer individual healing, private consultations, spiritual journey support, relationship counseling. There's so many different facets that Tao healing can benefit others with. So we're going to come to a close here. In conclusion, there are 4 major channels: soul language channel, direct communication channel. This week we taught in the third eye channel, and next week we'll be on the direct knowing channel. To develop your third eye requires time and patience. Heaven overall is in charge. Do the steps that have already been shared with you multiple times, and you have a high propensity of opening this channel. Sometimes it takes an hour or more a day of practice for several months. But with the development of this channel, you have an additional avenue through which heaven can communicate, bringing important messages to you. And it could be that if there's at some point in the future where there are calamities, then having a third eye channel can be very beneficial to know where to go, what to avoid, etc. Okay, so I encourage you to learn more, and if you're new, make sure you subscribe to my podcasts. Everything is also recorded on YouTube. Go over there and subscribe on YouTube if that's your preference. Make sure you like and share, and reach out to me at my website, wellspringoflight.com, if any of what has been shared today is of interest to you and you'd like to go deeper in your own personal healing or spiritual journey. I look forward to seeing you next week when we talk about the spiritual channel of Divine Direct Knowing Channel. Until then, have an awesome day, everybody. Bye-bye.